Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 13,
Radiant team ban.
the Conspiracy Season. We
Yeah,
have
it is.
Randy, the
Yes,
Doctor of
hello.
Dota, Randy, and of course, we also have this guy that we found in the bathroom at a Shoney's. Who are you?
What the hell's a Shoney's?
It's like this. It's like in the South. It's like this, really, I don't know, this really hick-ass fast food place. It's like the fast food version of like a Golden Corral or something, basically. Imagine that.
Nice.
It's not to say Golden Corral isn't already fast food, but like the
You know, we got Golden Corrals out here, but I've
Yeah.
never heard of Shoney's.
I mean they got like ham cubes on offer, things like that.
Which makes it really impressive, by the way, that you found me in one.
Yeah, that's true. What were you doing in a in a Shoney's
A place
bathroom in
you didn't know that
Mississippi?
existed.
It used, dude. I'm gonna be real with you. It used to be a Hollywood video.
Oh no. And you've been in there since it was a Hollywood video.
They like closed the wall behind me. They like constructed around me. They like trapped me in a little room.
No Sand King, no Omni, no Necro, no Tiny, literally the same
Ooh,
bands from
yeah,
now on.
the tiny ban is one that's felt pretty widely these days. I feel.
Also, what do you think of the Radiant team's name?
I think they've got a point here. It is it's pretty suspicious.
If you like that, then you're going to love the Minoy team name this season. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it till we see a Minoy game. But you're really going to like their name. We got a Dragon Knight
I
here.
gotta say, I do appreciate the
Interesting.
birds aren't real one, and I think it's gonna be funny if they end up picking stuff like Sky, Wrath, and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny.
I do not like the Dragon Knight first pick, buddy. That is not something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, Dragonite first pick, right into Ogre first pick. My man, you just selected like Dante must die mode. You know, it's over for you.
Let me tell you about Dragon Knight,
This
okay?
two-headed blue bastard is gonna follow you the entire game, and this blue bastard
Another
is
blue
also gonna
bastard.
follow you. Yeah, they're just both gonna follow him around the entire game. These two right here, Lich and Ogre. Fun fact about Ogre: he can lane with basically anybody and do it really well. And guess who really like to lane together? Lich and Ogre.
You could have a Lich Ogre off lane, but I doubt it. It's a lot more
Honestly,
likely.
if Ogre frontlines and farms for a Midas, you don't have much in the way of stopping him unless you've got some really, really good consistent or stacking damage like Bristle.
I got a question for you, Ocelot. You've been on here for some of the casts. All right, here's a Nani 200 trivia question for you. I don't like Witch Doctor first pick. Why is that?
I don't like Witch Doctor first pick because, well, frankly, his ultimate is almost his entire kit, really, when it comes to team fights. And if you pick him first, you're setting yourself up to be countered by any number of casual picks because his ult is cancelable by silences, I think some forms of force movement, stuns, hell, any number of things can knock him out of it. And
Right.
half of the heroes in the game pack some sort of stun or
It's
silence.
not the exact line I usually get. The exact line I usually give is, Witch Doctor is so easily countered even by the support line picks. Like, even by those guys you're going to be stringing up for your first
That's-
phase.
I feel like that's a less broad reply than mine,
Yeah. Dragon Knight, I feel the exact same way. It is so easy to counter Dragon Knight, even with your support line picks. It gets even worse when you start picking other guys. Like,
Yeah.
God help you if we're going to get good old Bob playing Viper this game, or if we're going to get him playing Centaur again. But
Alright.
Me
God help
personally, I like to play Witch Doctor in a sort of like a roaming offense where I max into Maledict, go for some early DOT items like Urn and Witchblade, and just sort of mill about, try to get picks. Don't really focus on trying to get the ult out or the Ags too quickly. Just sort of help out in fights, do damage, take phase boots for chase, and that's my approach at least.
right, which is a good way of kind of overcoming that. Even if you got the support line that's designed to deal with Witch Doctor, it's probably a support line designed to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, if
his
you're
ult.
if you're trying to 1v1 Witch Doctor and they're expecting to like get near a coconut, so they're gonna try and 1v1 you. They're gonna be really confused why you're not throwing coconut, and they get hit with Maledict at the start of the fight, and then suddenly they get blasted in the face with a Spirit Vessel charge and a Witchblade charge, and next thing you know, that health bar of yours is really kind of disappearing.
But unfortunately, there is not really a way to address that issue with Dragon Knight. You know, if you got a break,
there isn't.
Dragon Knight is gone. Got too much magic damage, he is off the field.
Yeah,
Got
that's the
both.
worst part, though, is that on paper, Oracle would be great for countering all that magic damage, but he can't attack during that, right?
Right. No, actually, they took that out.
Wait, really? When the hell?
Yeah, they reworked his,
Okay, to be fair, I don't pay attention to Oracle much. It's not
Damn.
exactly one of my fave picks, but, wow. Different era, man.
Actually, no. Is it... They took out... did they take out his old... The old...
It's a trait now, I think.
It's a trait now? Okay.
Either a trait or a shard.
I think they sort of heard us in a weird roundabout, like what's it called, like string theory or something, where we mentioned it now and some shit happened down the line, or like we just sort of like retroactively got them to pick a bird hero.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, they didn't get the bird hero.
No, they got the one that used to be a bird. They like ripped her wings off and shit. Remember?
It's the other team.
No, that's what I'm talking
birds are
about.
real-
It's like a fake bird.
I
Not
see.
a bird anymore. So it's like adding to their point. Also, ooh, Shadow Fiend. Who is Shadow Fiend meant to deal with here? Centaur kind of eats him alive.
It's an SF pause 1.
And,
Oh damn! That
that's
is
not
that's
good for SF.
that is a big counter to SF and to DK.
Boy, Oracle is going to be... He is going to
He's
have
gonna be
a
busy.
lot. Yeah. This is going to have to be a god-tier Oracle game where this team is going to shatter into a million pieces.
You know, I can't help but make a callback to that first Oracle we saw way back when. You know, the one that was kind of throwing.
We did see an Oracle way back when. I would say if I was thinking about Oracles that were kind of throwing, the first Mage tournament, we saw an Oracle who would just kind of refuse to duel or refuse to ult dual targets, for example, and Elsie was on the other team.
Hey, wait a minute. We kind of missed this, but they banned Ursa and Viper over on BAR over there.
BAR. Yeah, that's true. Actually banned out. Basically, outside of Tiny and Ursa, kind of clinks, they banned out mostly mids on the Birds Aren't Real lineup there. Definitely taking a very strong look at Baladec, which was interesting. I do kind of feel like maybe he's not the guy to put all your stock into. I don't know.
Perhaps not. In fact,
Maybe
looking at
force them to not play a comfort hero.
Right.
that might be it actually. But then again, everyone's got an ace in the whole pick. There's almost never an opportunity to truly ban someone's full contender list.
Right.
I don't fear the person that knows how to play every hero. I fear the person who's played one hero to the point where they can, beat anyone. Someone who's mastered the ins and outs of the hero.
Got
That
Drow
is someone you
Ranger.
need to be scared of.
I like the Drow
Drow's-
pick here.
Drow's dangerous to
Yes.
Lich and to Huskar.
Drill Aura plus Vengeance
Oh,
plus
there
SF
we
Aura.
go.
Okay,
That's-
that could be problematic.
That's
That is tremendous. Lich and Medusa alone are a problem, but
I actually still like the Drow here, even in light of that. Like, this is actually a really well set up team for Drow Ranger to do a lot. Consider this.
Is...
US Danny
Go on.
this game, he's got one job. He goes in, he ults, right? He gets everybody running around in fear, alright? Drow Ranger has a multi-shot. It's got a great cone of fire for a bunch of chickens running around with their heads cut off. There's a lot of damage coming into that, especially with the VS and the Shadow Fiend auras, and the ability to pull somebody into the line of fire if necessary, right? You've got a very, very, very solid lineup to make this Drow work. Of course, reality and theory are two very different things. Execution
Yes.
still has to happen here. But even though that's a pretty intimidating looking lineup on Birds Aren't Real, both in the figurative and literal sense of it, I mean, look at these guys. If these guys were coming down the street, you would need a change of pants. Make no mistake about it, alright? But very intimidating lineup, both in the literal and metaphorical sense, but I feel like the Drow here is actually a very strong pick. They definitely have to acknowledge that they definitely have to make it work, and unfortunately they're going to have a bit of a thorn in their side as to making it work. If nothing else, I don't think this is a great lineup to deal with the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, Drow on her own left to farm is one of those heroes that can just sort of be really unremarkable, just sort of sit under the attention of your enemy team. I mean, obviously, you can't really know that she's on the team, but when she's busy farming, you don't feel her presence, and you get really complacent. So when she finally does show up, even in passing, she can really change the game. What is this supposed to be? Is that a Meepo?
Okay, yeah, it's Meepo. Yeah, I had to look at this because it just looked like a ball of, like, just crystal nonsense to me. This is another... What happened? This statue did not look like this last... Oh, it just got displaced from the pedestal. Frostman.
Nice.
Hey, Ocelot, when you came out here to my place, you played some Mega Man 8. Any thoughts about that game?
That's a good question, what, Mega Man?
It is a pretty good question, yeah.
To be honest, though, it was ambitious.
It was ambitious!
That's all I could say for it.
That's the best thing you could possibly say about it. Here, you want to know here's the thing I always say about Mega Man 8, right? The smartest person on the entire team behind Mega Man 8 was Duo's voice actor, because he correctly was as far away from the microphone as humanly possible, which means he was as far away from the development of Mega Man 8 as humanly possible.
That's an approach. Oh, speaking of approach,
Don't think this is two ships.
Lich doing here? He's being a...
Just rotating back to top.
Okay. I thought for a second there that Draw might have been onto something.
We're gonna have a Medusa mid? I don't know if I can approve of this. Also means, I
Greedy
guess...
mids right there. Holy shit.
Also,
I'd
I
hate to
guess
be the
that
one-
means Otto this season is just, or at least this series, is going to be going full time.
I know you saw that really unlucky bounce on the snake.
Yep. Said.
You know, it's very interesting. Otto von Bismarck, I've historically described him as a firm traditionalist. This is not a very traditional way to organize his team, especially not by his standards. It's certainly something I don't know if anybody was really calling before this series.
You know, I suppose a question here. So,
Hear it.
Baladec, right? I'm not super aware of what their history is for their mains. Could you fill me in on that, actually?
Baladec, last season, most of the season anyway, played Pause 3 for Lanaya Del Rey Esper's team.
Really? From Pause 3 to the team carry?
Yep. He played Pause 2 a few games as well. Godlike Matt, who is traditionally their mid, swapped out for them a couple of games. Most of his mids are the sort of fare you would kind of expect for a main Pause 3 player. I think his standout mid performance in the last season was on OD. Quite far from what he's performing on here. I actually really do not like Huskar being up here. This is actually, I think, a lose-lose. I think Medusa top and Huskar mid is like a million times better this game. At least for a while. You know, there's going to be a point where you're definitely going to have to tag out. Like, once Drow starts really leveling into Gust, switch out for sure. But, like, until then, like, what are you really going to do against Dragonite as Huskar? Not much. You can just kind of sit there.
Huskar can burn him down, but he's very obviously going to play defensive when he needs to.
Right.
DK just sort of has the ability to survive lane, provided he doesn't make any overwhelmingly huge mistakes.
And on top of that, you know, just to make that worse, you also got the Warcarp here, who, you know, just really had probably more of a standout performance, I would say, in the last game. I'm fortunate that they lost it. Probably more of a standout performance in that last game than he had in Season 12 in general, right? He's got the Warcarp up here, who's going to be providing some armor break for him. So that'll just make this these, like, actual trades worth. Gonna be helping him out with the stuns. It's going to be a tough game to be Huskar, that's for sure.
If Huskar, I feel, were a man of taste, he might elect to try and skip Armlet this game, because I'll tell you a little secret right now. If there's any heroes out there who are really good at just suddenly killing you in the middle of an Armlet toggle, it's Drow and SF.
There we go.
Dragonite got a little too close to the sun. Just because the matchup is bad for Huskar does not mean that you...
You know,
can't just
underestimating
kinda
your
treat it
foe
lightly.
is a mistake you would only ideally make once.
Right.
Or maybe dead too.
Yeah, that ain't
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's Burning Spear for even level 1. This is why I was saying that was saying a bit ago that DK can afford to play defensively here. But again, slightest mistake, even a couple of extra inches too close to Huskar, and it could be a death.
Right.
Lich has several sources of slow and a really short but efficient forced movement option, and that gives Huskar time to hit you with, like, what, 6, 7 Burning Spears in total?
Unfortunately, we missed a kill bot.
That happens. It must have been a quick one, too.
Yep, Centaur Warrunner going down to the Shadow Fiend. Actually, Shadow Fiend, who is doing the new Shadow Fiend meta, no raises, which really raises, haha, the question of how the hell Warrunner went down so fast, especially with 2 points of return and 2 braces.
That would be because he has his points in his armor reduction. So if you think about it, if Centaur gets overconfident like they sort of, well, usually do, let's be real, it's all too stereotypical for a Centaur to just wade through creeps and try beating you up, because they don't really feel it. Well, you start feeling it when your armor's missing. Centaur doesn't actually have a lot in the way of raw defense, just big strength.
Guess that's true. I guess you could definitely just be kind of worn over time. He's still, you know, when Shadow Fiend is around him, you know, even with all that, it reduces Centaur Warrunner to the level not of frailty, but more of mortality, I would say.
Yes, that's the more appropriate term for it. And
yeah.
While his strength score is really beefy, Centaur on his own isn't particularly fast.
Right.
And SF's range, while not like, say, Techies or Lena tier, is still formidable. He's a mid pick. He can still hit you from a bit further than you'd like. Lich might actually lose his courier here.
Let's go courier.
Yep.
That one's Lich's courier.
Both couriers
just
here.
too slow.
But he is going to lose his life. Probably means a little more than that.
DK might actually be in some trouble.
No, but he's got 2 points as passive by this point. He is A-okay. Huskar not leveling his Burning Spear, so it's not going to be doing any appreciable amount of damage to DK anymore unless he eats like a million of them. So I don't know if DK really appreciates that fact. I think maybe getting bitten, you know, getting bitten early in the lane there made DK just a little too shy. If DK played this, you don't have to go like balls to the wall. Certainly not as DK, never. But you could definitely afford to be a little more forward in this lane at this point.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If he's looking to play defensively, you want to go power treads. But if you want to make a move to try and get back at your opponent, you build the Glove of Haste like normal, right? But instead you go for power treads, so you get some chase, some back and forth, a bit of escape potential even. Helps with ganks whenever they do end up occurring, which I feel like DK might need on that note. But it allows you to sort of get some better hit in once you've actually got your ult up. It lets you poke a little harder if you need to when you're not fully committed to the idea of a straight-up fight.
Again, you can see there, DK just stuns the Huskar and just kind of runs not only away, but all the way back, like as far back as he can go. Staying well out of XP range. Not really sure why.
He's trying to avoid getting hit by both Lich and... take a quick look at Lich's abilities and humor me here. My assumption is that he's got 2 points in Frost Blast. That is enough to knock him into a danger threshold for Huskar to outright kill him, and Huskar is on the cusp of level 6. He's being very mindful of level dynamic right now, and any slight overestimation of his ability will get him killed.
True, but any slight underestimation of ability is also going to get him killed here, like worth. I said this last round, you weren't here to hear it, but one of the most dangerous things you can do in Dota is playing overcautiously. This is interesting. Like
and they found an opening.
Support here.
Oh no! Speaking of taking out support, is she gonna die to the DOT? What level's that Burning Spear? Nah, she's not. It's only level.
Oh, no, level 2 actually.
Yeah, I think he just leveled that a bit ago.
Ray got second level of 5.
Illusion on Medusa, that's not something you want to see if she's mid. She can start pushing a little harder.
Speaking of at mid, very notable that this lane has... Well, it's certainly going to get a kill on Warcarb if he ends up going back into the fray.
Uses his first level 6.
Oh no. Lich showed back up and he's got his frost... yeah, no, he has to back off.
Yep. So again, with this level of Burning Spear, you can actually see it happening there live, even with the creep wave right in DK's face. He was actually still just regening over what the Burning Spear is doing. What you really need to do, if you're DK in a situation in a lane like this, or really any tanky style 3 in a situation like that, it's like if you're a Centaur or something in a situation like this, it's the best, I believe it's still 500, Best 500 gold you can ever spend in your life. Get yourself that casual
Yeah,
cloak, and you
sure.
legitimately cut this lane's damage output in half. And you can afford to stop playing quite this defensively. Of course, at this point, it's probably late, but...
I feel I should bring this up on the topic of DK while we had the camera on him there, but matter of preference when it comes to DK, a lot of people tend to go for, you know, power treads, just general items to beef up your base attack speed and strength, sort of make you a bit tankier. I prefer to go for items that give you a bit of an edge in the harass stage of the game, when you're still in lane. I tend to go for, believe it or not, a Maelstrom first item.
Maelstrom, eh? Can be
Gives you a bit
interesting.
of deadlier poke when you go for the Javelin early, which can really surprisingly kill, like, that can kill Huskar out of nowhere if he isn't maxing into his Berserker blood early.
It is interesting. The only issue is I feel like with a Lich there, especially with Lich going...
Oh no, with
heavy into
Lich, absolutely,
process-
but if Lich starts covering Huskar, that's when you just sort of say, well, I'm gonna die here anyway, and kill the Lich instead. Lich can only really pick
Oh,
one
Carp
person
dead.
to save from dying immediately. That disarm is just not helping him, and unfortunately Huskar has his armlet. His poison is not strong enough to
Here.
kill.
Oh. Oh.
Eat your
Oh, boy.
tangos!
Whew.
Wow.
Uh-oh, that ain't good. Just
Eat
casually
your Baladec.
eats Drow in the back line.
Baladec
Yeah, no,
came up
that's,
here.
I
not sure-
literally
Not
was
sure why
looking
you come
mid.
up here.
Yeah, I checked
Baladec.
mid a moment ago. I think she
Like-
was believing she had a vulnerability to exploit, but I don't think it was the right timing.
Surely you
She might have
just
got
farm the mid wave, right? Because it's free.
Well, I mean,
Or-
Huskar walked away from that with, like, single-digit HP, so I definitely get
Yeah,
why
and,
that rotation happened, but boy, that sure wasn't good.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Medusa is off doing her own thing right now at bottom.
Yep, just casually, just as casual as...
Mask of Madness,
Possibly.
too. Ooh, that tower's gone.
Very
One
classic
would
Medusa
Harry.
move. This
Like
is...
maybe
the dude,
not.
the team is winning early. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, if Ogre starts putting value points into his Beast, not Beast Blood, Bloodlust, he's going to... Yeah, no, Medusa's already trying to just take a tower that fast.
Yep. I don't necessarily know. I feel like, you know, I've actually had a Pause 1 expert. I've been in discussion with Pause 1 expert in this season, and one thing they told me is that the Medusa versus Drow matchup is actually bad enough that even if you have something to counter the Drow, you still don't really want to just take that decision. This isn't a situation where Medusa winning early is actually the end of the world, which is a very rare thing to say, but I think how dominant this Huskar has been so far definitely does make that more of an end of the world. For the situation, he is not the guy you want to start getting really tanky, really scary, really fast. This is something you kind of want. Okay, not if this happens though.
Oh no, Baladec!
No.
Once again, Baladec just going straight to hell.
Ult. Lich's ult did a ton of damage in that fight. They were just spaced a bit too close, and they got absolutely eradicated. I'm going to be honest, there's very little hope because of how this early game played out. Medusa's already capable of pushing a tower down with minimal effort.
Right, she's better at pushing tower right now than DK is.
True, true. And because DK doesn't quite have his items right now, he can't stop this. He's in his ult. He's got the ability to get some damage in, but he can't secure that kill.
Especially because he had to go all in on Dragon's Blood early, which is pretty much what you do now. You don't really pick DK if you're not seeming to do anything else. If I'm Shadow Fiend, I'm sweating a lot this game. You got a lot on your shoulders here. Two deaths on the mid at this point is not great, especially when the other mid is Medusa.
Yeah, and his farm isn't exactly what I'd call revolutionarily large.
Yeah, he is not doing like in 2 minutes he's gonna have like half of Medusa's net worth.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't believe his armor reduction aura works until he gets a trait for it.
Yeah, it doesn't work on towers.
On
Yeah,
towers,
not until
okay,
level-
yeah, okay.
Not until level 15, yeah.
Huskar's mere presence makes Shadow Fiend.
I'm guessing I cut out in the middle of saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, all I heard was just his armor rake aura does not work.
The skill does nothing until you get a trait.
That would be the ultimate troll.
Yeah, no, I'm getting a little bit of a hiccup here on my end of things.
Me too.
Oh, wow, that was a considerable distance on that multicast.
Downtown
Yeah.
multicast. Always love to see it.
The number of times I got killed at, like, the day they, like, buffed Ogre's multicast to work with stuff like Midas and to target things you can't see, I got killed a lot by that just at random. Just some Ogre in our jungle, and I would be walking back to base low health, and I see death flying at me at 2 miles per hour. It's like getting chased by a Necropho's hand, you know? It's like, or a skull, it's like coming towards you, right?
Yep.
It's just about to grab you, and it's like, oh no, man, I don't want it to end like this.
Dragonite there found the smoke gank, and he's just the wrong guy to find during that, so nothing comes out of it, which is good.
Yeah. On the note of Necro, by the way, I really feel like that ban, that was Bird's ban, wasn't it?
That was
Yeah,
the Dyer's ban, correct?
Yeah, that was very good foresight, because they just have no answer to Huskar or to Centaur.
Right.
I don't feel like they have a hero that can utilize their own skills alone to kill either of them. And because of that, they might very well have what I'd like to refer to as a checkmate in the works because of that.
I know it's not very popular. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think it's better now than it's ever been. I think this would have been over a Dragonite. I think this is a really ball and 3-stealer game.
Yeah.
Like you get a quick Ags plus you get a quick Albert, and you can completely eliminate your choice of Huskar or Medusa from every team fight. You can sustain yourself forever on the Centaur.
Speaking of quick elimination, that Lich overextended.
Yep. Definitely went
Medusa
farther.
popped her ult to try and bail out. I feel like that was a little late.
That's a little late, but I do.
Oh man, VS wants some of this.
No swap.
Yep, no swap up. Can't do anything more than that.
Nighttime actually hit just a moment before that was all happening, and yeah, I don't think that helped him.
Right.
Or not nighttime, the night vision reduction.
Right.
Not
Well, it's the same
enunciating
thing
that
anyway.
But yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. They were actually able to snowball off that. Medusa had no ult to work with. That's her big
Huskar, bro, you are way low here, man.
He's dead.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, it kind of gets to what I was talking about earlier. It does not matter how good the matchup is. You gotta respect your opponent. You gotta respect your other guy, even if they're not
Lich
doing great.
overextended again.
Yep. And down he goes. He gets an ult off.
Raw ult doesn't seem to get much done.
Beats up a
Six
jungle
minute
camp.
Just bother these guys.
On the
Not
topic
great.
of the Radiant right now, Drow got that kill. Actually, it didn't end up going to someone else.
Yep,
Yes.
it was good.
I feel like the acquisition of a Dragonlance, while beneficial, is not what she needed to go for, though. Personally, I feel like she's already got the strength and agi from her. I forget what the pre-item for it
I'm
is. I know
assuming she's going Pike early for the Huskar. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's got the recipe queue. She's definitely Hurricane Pike early.
I feel
definitely.
like if she was going to build for something early, and aside from that, she might have elected to go for something a little more, a bit more of a safe pick. I'm a big fan of Mask of Madness on Drow, but I will also say that there's room to argue for grabbing Gleipnir on her, believe it or not, down the line.
I definitely think the Pike to start here. I
Pike
definitely
was
support
pretty
the choice.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like it would have been better to have had some components for it by this point. Like, it's good to have it early, yes, but I feel like you just need stats at the moment, because Drow just sort of has the problem of she can't face anyone alone. She needs her team behind her, and she's not farmed enough to warrant having her team behind her. That's why they've got Shadow Fiend running around right now.
Right. Notably, we just got a kill on Centaur over here on Epstein didn't deny himself. They actually didn't lose. They lost nobody for it, even under the threat of a Medusa ult.
He's just cooking them right now.
They can't stand up to this Shadow Fiend in the slightest.
I don't
Notably,
know if they're
Huskar
playing in there, but
Huskar
definitely in
actually
their face.
tried to do Roche there. He just couldn't even get more than a second into it before he had to pull out.
whoa, is that an arcane rune? That is an arcane rune in the jungle or in the river. DK gonna grab that? Yep.
Yep. The more fights they're winning at this point, the better things are going to go for them. If they can start getting a lot of gold and a lot of XP turning around for them, it is just nothing but good news.
Well,
Warcarp is crazy, bro!
okay.
That ain't gonna kick up.
It's an ambitious swap right there.
And that's sort of been the key word today. That's like the word of the day, and all the furniture starts going apeshit. Yeah, ambition.
Oh my god.
I'm sure that play looked better in his head.
Yeah, the play looked better in his head because Huskar wasn't there in his head.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Now they just take a Roche.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I believe Shadow Fiend even was just taking a quick glance over there and just sort of saw, uh-oh, there's the silhouette of Huskar, and nope, I'm out of there.
Right.
You know, I kind of
Roche
find it
got down,
obnoxious
Huskar
that, in a sense, Ogre's one of the best heroes you can actually take Roche with, because if he's spamming his spells on there, if you see an Ignite fly off into the distance, you know somebody's out to stop you.
Right. Got an Aegis immediately making a rotation into the jungle here, and buddy, this is not a guy you want to be here right now. Funnily enough, Centaur actually saying, oh no way he's there, or Oracle is perhaps saying it back.
Maybe.
Now, Shadow Fiend's hitting for almost rapier level damage, but he's elected wisely to piss off.
Yeah. Surrounding this T2 bot looking for him desperately, but he is long since abandoned this spot.
USDA says control the triangle.
I know that this is the LD2L League, this is all about learning heroes, but the number of times I've seen, like, Oracle or VS picked where Earth Spirit could more or less pull off the similar level of a job, I feel like Earth Spirit could have performed really well in Oracle's place this game.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think Earth Spirit actually is probably better than the VS pick more over the Oracle, I'd say.
Because it gives you the option to just remove a guy from the fight, even just a little bit. Like, if you get that Ags and the Shard and everything on Earth Spirit, if he turns someone into a statue and kicks them in or out of a fight, they're removed from it more or less. They're so far away, unless they got Blink off cooldown, they're not doing much.
It is a while.
The number of games I've seen Earth Spirits win just because they got Ags, like against, say, a team with like a big carry Ursa, very frequent. Very, very frequent.
You actually see both of the cores, the big cores on the Radiant here, were off split pushing while they were trying to commit to mid, or while they were trying to commit to bottom.
I don't like this.
Huskar
Oh no!
Getting the Oracle there.
Nice.
Good Oracle.
God.
Oh, that's a
DK's
perfect statue.
Hard damage. He's got a ton of DOTs on him.
Got a fear off on the on everybody.
Wow.
Medusa's dead, baby.
Baladec is absolutely fearless.
He's gonna live, baby! Holy crap! What a fight!
Oracle. That's quite the way to defend an uphill. Kill all of their cores.
Both sides of that, well done.
That was a really good that's a really good uphill attempt. I think Otto especially did that really well. He had a really good, well-positioned Medusa ult there. But man, he just couldn't quite seal the deal. And that is not a good look right now.
Okay, that's a
This
hard.
FF is a problem.
Right. It's a problem, and I don't know it goes away.
Speaking of problems, I've identified something a little important to address.
Let's hear it.
As it stands right now, Lich and Ogre are bottom of the scoreboard for net worth, and their supports, yes, but they are very, very low on the scoreboard, actually, which, for heroes that do really well for the first, like, 20, 30 minutes of the game, they still need items, and they haven't really progressed anything of note.
Yeah, that's actually...
Nothing that actually inhibits the enemy team or really plays off any of their more intrinsic skills. Like, for example, Lich, I don't believe, has even gotten an Ag Shard yet.
Let's find out. Indeed, no, he is not. He has a Q, but he is really behind on it. It's actually a good point. These are two supports that are going to need more than, like, your... You know, I always call it the Stepford support, right? You know, you've got your boots, you've got your consumables, and you got your wards.
Although I suppose I'm being a little harsh on them, because they are having to deal with having a Medusa and a Huskar on their team.
Yeah,
Medusa's going to take every creep camp, and Huskar is either glued to a lane, or he is busy absolutely immolating the jungle.
Yeah, so that comes down almost to a draft,
two
though,
Quicksilver amulets this game. We tend to get that a lot when we're casting, huh?
I mean, yeah, I guess that is true. On the other hand, it is a limited pool compared to the amount of slots you get.
True.
Quicksilver
But,
definitely.
Quicksilver would be very good on Drow right now if she doesn't already have it.
Tell you who I like Quicksilver on the most actually in this lineup. I really like Quicksilver on Dragon Knight because, as I always
He'll
say,
always have a cooldown off of his ult, at least.
he will always have it right when he needs it. When he ults, Quicksilver comes on, and that's something money can't buy. Medusa, on the other hand, actually in the exact same position. I think I definitely take it over from Brace here. Whenever you ult, that turns on.
Yep.
And baby, that is really good for you.
Hell, I like to grab it on Enigma when I take on a jungle.
Or maybe Shadow Fiend as well. Boy howdy, you want to
yeah.
talk about comes on right when you need it. That's another big right when you need it guy.
That is, yeah, actually. I mean, his only activatable skill is his ult.
Yep.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Though I still think because he's got 3 Shadow Razes, he should still get that damn value point, son! Take it!
That's not what you do. That's not the cool build.
Yeah, I know, you're behind by like 3 Agi, but come on, man. You really, really need that skills. Like, you're ignoring 3/4 of the active effect of Quicksilver. It's...
Right.
It bugs me. It bugs me a lot.
Use the invis to take a peek at Roche, maybe? No, actually, just gonna charge right
Oh,
in the jungle.
he might have... They don't have detection. They don't have detection at all.
But he's seen on the shrine, right?
No, I don't think he saw
No,
him.
he wasn't seen on the shrine, but I think they might have seen him pick up the ward somehow.
Oh, there was a ward there.
Yeah, there's a rune there, but I don't think that would have... Oh, there's a... But there's no observer here. He wouldn't have noticed
I
invis.
think...
Spidey senses.
Speaking of they wouldn't have known,
Meanwhile-
That's good game sense. Hey, speaking of that Ag Shard, look who finally got it.
Radiant's bottom tower.
which
And now because that's there, they don't really have an option to chase now. You see, that's the point of Lich's Shard. It's a minor inconvenience, but with a team that's already got Centaur on it, there's no chance at all to press a fight until that thing is dead or until Centaur is ulted.
really not good to lose a T3 here. It's a very powerful T3 loss.
That's
There's some
a funny,
games where
baseline.
there's some games where losing a T3 means nothing. There's some games where losing a T3 means a lot. This is one of the
Danny.
latter ones.
Taking a
That's Danny.
poker.
Yeah, just taking some pot shots here.
Good.
Ooh,
Swap
good
out.
swap. Oh, he's ulting.
Yo.
Ults absolutely
counter ult.
nothing, but it
DK!
doesn't matter.
DK and Shadow Fiend together. Oh, that's some damage.
That was like such a tragedy if you're Huskar, because US Danny literally did 0 damage, got no fears with that ult, and
Yep.
Huskar
And
still
as,
dies.
As previously mentioned, though, guess who's starting to come online? They don't really have an answer to them in the early game, but now that they've actually managed to meet their team fight requirements, they sort of kick ass.
Right. The Dire are up 3k, but you watch this, it does not feel like they're the up team right now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's a very unfortunate situation. I think both of their cores are counterpicked to some extent by the Baladec team core.
Yep.
And the situation for Drow to really start rocking is coming together more and more. She's not even really on the field yet, and they're already doing this good. You know, and she's not far from it. You know, a lot of times when I say that, what ends up happening is that she never comes on the field. It just never comes online. Just the chance isn't there. But man, she is really close. I think once she gets that BKB, once VS gets a few more levels under her belt, she desperately needs to get some at this point. I will say that much. Then we're going to be looking at a very, very scary Drow Ranger and a very, very scary team as a result. Everybody dancing around the T3, bro. Okay, there we go.
Mind Breaker on Medusa, that's a pretty big item for her, if you ask me.
Yeah, that could be really nasty.
US Danny.
Lucky find. Very brazen up here.
Taking a peek at this Medusa.
Very bold. Medusa's actually still on the wave, which is almost equally bold.
Yeah.
She reveals herself on this wave. I think she just kind of dies. I don't know. She's not doing it.
Neutral.
Thinking
Yeah,
better
she
of
won't.
it.
Uh-oh.
They see
It's
you
bottom.
on him.
They're just walking away.
And they'll disengage.
What the hell was that?
They just saw a man. That was the equivalent of seeing a man T-posing at you in the woods. They just left.
You know, they say
Now
if you
they'll
chase
take the
2
fight.
rabbits, you lose them both. Well, if you
Uh-oh.
chase 0 rabbits, I'm gonna just eat the VS
Oh,
here.
leave. Oh, she's already
Yeah.
dead.
Just straight up. At least Medusa doesn't get the
It's
kill.
fine. This was a useless.
Dude, why is the whole village here?
I agree with Mr. Team Liquid. Whoever Team Liquid might possibly be. I agree with Team Liquid. That was pretty much a useless kill, like just a very low value pick there at the very least, especially considering Ogre gets the final shot. Still shouldn't have happened though. I really just don't know what the game plan was there. I think they're just going for mind games.
I don't believe I brought it up earlier regarding Lich and Ogre because there was a slight pun to have been made there, so I decided not to do it. But it's appropriate at this point in the game, not the pun. The point I was going to make, mind you.
Dire's tower is under attack.
Lich quite literally snowballs into power though, and he's still at the bottom of the scoreboard, which is again it's a crime. Yeah, it's a crime. But Ogre getting even a little farm is something you never want to see openly happen, because no one wants to fight an Ogre with like Ags, Octarine, and Bloodstone, you know?
Okay,
He's-
good silence.
He definitely scales better than he does in your head, if that makes sense. Like, he scales better than most people realize. Which isn't to say he scales particularly well. But I would say of the support roster, he's probably one of the better guys you can have at the very end of the game, especially when you start talking about like the super long games, and he can start doing funny things like just throwing out a million hexes everywhere, for example.
Yeah.
And again, Bismarck's team has to pull out there, just hit the brakes, pull out on a push that looked very good, because US Danny just hitting this lane again, and they could just never quite seem to get their thumb either on him or on the lane he's pushing out. Bismarck had to get himself an Ags there. They're just missing out so much on forward-looking CC. Gonna go into Roche here. Roche is...
Also, hate to say it, I don't know what he's saving for, but that much money he's got in his back pocket has got me very worried.
Shadow Fiend? He does have $1 million.
Down goes Roche, and who grabbed the extra items?
Who grabbed? I believe today it's just a shard.
Medusa's gonna take it.
Yep, Medusa takes a shard to go with the eggs.
Oh,
Not
that's a
surprising.
nasty combo. Ags
Yep.
and Shard on Medusa this early are not good.
Right. And this early sounds odd when we're talking about 30 minutes, but you know, keep in mind Medusa does go super late.
Yeah, Medusa is not only super late, I think she is like the latest you can go as far as most carries.
Yeah, unless you're
except
picking
for
like Lone Root
Fairwood.
or Arc Warden or something.
Yeah.
And neither of those guys are people who should probably be picked right now.
I don't think I've ever seen a patch where Lone Druid is picked.
Yeah, I think legitimately last time I saw Lone Druid picked regularly outside of like TI level players, legitimately last time was like the TI3 era. Dragon Knight working on with this plate mail. Is Courier gonna explain that maybe? No?
Well, he's playing Blink, so I guess he just he was like, alright, I can't buy AC, I gotta get Blink
Right.
instead.
Yeah, probably. was
Honestly, on the topic of AC, can you show me Shadow Fiend's inventory real quick?
like, sure thing.
I feel like now might be the time for him to start building for it because he's got all that money. He could almost straight buy it, get rid of that stupid circlet or whatever it is in his inventory there, and just
Wraithband.
Wraithband, yeah. But just get rid of that. I can't see. It's a little. My view right now is a bit
You're wearing your Coke bottle glasses right now, but they got a little
Yeah,
foggy.
Just gonna go for a
yeah,
Scouty.
not even name brand. Not even name brand Coke bottle glasses. It's like Shasta bottle glasses.
Radiant's middle tower
Got some
has
Dr.
fallen.
Thunder bottle glasses.
You gonna... Neither team really wants to go back and defend from these pushes.
Dire's top tower
Here's the
it's
problem though.
basically-
Shadow Fiend can kill tower a lot faster than Deucer right now with Mask.
They'll send Huskar back.
They,
I feel like they could kill him, honestly.
This is a good
that's
swap.
Oh, that was the
Yep.
wrong person to send back.
Yeah,
He
that
didn't even get a
was.
chance. He had of 2 seconds to run with his ult, and he was dead before he even finished the sound bite that plays.
That was a very good play. That was just a very smart play by Baladec's team there. I don't know who called that, but it was like Otto's team. Just to be frank, they sent the wrong guy. They should not have sent Oscar back. They definitely should have sent back the Centaur.
Huskar bit the line for sure. Like as soon as SF saw that TP back, he TP'd back in the fight immediately. And then reduce it
Bit of a
with-
waste on that BKB.
Yeah, Dragon Knight hits it early, unfortunately for him. The good news is
I
that
feel
at
like
the
he
very
didn't know
least,
that- I feel like he didn't know that it might not.
Is under attack.
Some people just turn up not knowing this, but for the record, any new people out there who are going to be watching this, you cannot, absolutely cannot, block Medusa's ult with a BKB.
can't block it through anything.
It does
no.
not work.
Yeah. I think that's probably what's happening there.
Only one way to block it, it's not looking at Medusa.
Right. US Danny, by the way, slings bot, takes T1 while that's happening.
Yep. Finishes up
Really?
the Scotty.
So, DK down to BKB usage, which ain't great. I think he's, that was his 9, in fact. Good news is, at the very least, he did waste a Medusa ult, so it's going to be down for a while. Not the longest thing in the world, but... Well, I guess it might as well be a million years when this is happening. Oh no, baby. This is not good. Luckily
Okay,
the,
there's the emergency.
Yep.
You're kidding me, DK.
What DK,
DK,
that
Massive
maniac. That was a great swap. That was a great Shadow Fiend ult, but he's disarmed
DK,
forever.
No, dude. Oh, the range disarm duration. No.
Uh-oh. That's
Oh,
really
Lord.
bad. Dusa just got 1,000 gold from that kill.
Oh, it's over. This is it.
Yeah, I think that's ball game.
Oh my god.
It
That
can
was a
all
fantastic
disappear.
set of plays, though. That was great. Unfortunately, as it happens, the odds were simply stacked against them.
Dire team invincible through BKB, and I think that was just the final proof of it. Huskar hits BKB, just lives through everything. Medusa doesn't even need BKB, she just needs to hit R, just live through everything, and he just simply could not overpower that. Which is unfortunate.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom barracks are under
Some buybacks coming in here. I don't necessarily know that means much. I don't think this team can come back from Elena Supers.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
At the very least, it's only one wave, but I just don't really see at this point a realistic path to victory for them.
I got one. Drow needs to get her Ags and a Rapier. Pure and simple. She just needs raw alpha to hit as hard as humanly possible.
Right.
There's no blade mails, so
It's definitely looking more and more like a almost a necessity.
Yep.
The VS is still just doesn't have a level 4 passive.
I don't think DK has a Satanic, does he?
DK doesn't have anything, dude. He is like
Oh man.
he's great value DK for sure.
Great value, my dude. We're currently on like Kirkland at this point.
And we're on the Surefine
I'm
DK.
sorry, that's rude.
Oh no, you can say it. It's true. He's like not appreciably got much more farm than the supports at this point, and it's just really the weakness of the DK first pick coming in. Like he just, you know, the classic DK scenario. Just not enough damage to like do anything. No ability. He's tanky, sure, but he has no ability to make the enemy team care about him at all. To like, you know, hit him instead of anybody else. Which is why, if you're in a game like this, give you a hint. The magic word is auras. And you know, like if we had a if we're on DK, we got a Super Vlads this game, right? That's something they gotta pay attention to. That's something
Ooh,
they can't
Ninja
even
Gear.
fight. Got a Ninja Gear up.
Ninja Gear is really scary on Shadow Fiend because of his ult. I mean, it doesn't let him get directly under you, but it lets him get really close to you and keep a ton of move and attack speed.
Radiant's
Right.
middle tower is under
And the raw damage is definitely appreciated on an edgy hero too. Oh no. Medusa might have been off more than she can chew, actually.
Oh my god, she's looking super dead.
Oh, she's alive.
Yeah, the
Holy
last
hell.
minute. But Huskar has to go down
Husker
for
gave
her.
his life for that. Yeah.
That was
Definitely the
almost
right play.
both of their cores. Medusa's
That,
out of here. She's
that
gone,
Acceptor
but
and Husker.
wait, she's still around. What is she doing? They're on the upswing. If they
Okay.
push through and they come across, okay, she's got a haster and she's not getting caught anytime soon.
Yep.
They're thinking about Roche. This is a risky Roche
Yeah,
run.
that's a really bad idea. Not without Huskar for sure.
It's not even up, but I'll tell you
Not even
something.
up.
Roshan as a whole, at this stage in the game, isn't just risky, it's an ill-advised proposition. Because
Well,
this can happen.
That's sad.
Dire's middle
that was actually a blind. Jump.
Yep.
They do not actually have vision up there. Well, they do. It's just not relevant vision.
Dire's middle tower
They took
Oh, they
a
do
guess because they
actually.
didn't... I think they placed us just... No, actually they didn't. Wow, that's unlucky. Medusa dropping her ult to take out Shadow Fiend here. Is it gonna work? It is.
Great
BKB?
timing of that BKB, but man,
Oh, that's good.
Your way.
hard to say it matters.
Oh, he's dead.
I blew him up.
There's one item I feel like Shadow Fiend super duper needed this game. He just unfortunately never got.
Uh-oh, we got some salt.
He got some
We
soul
do.
coming.
PJ Salt.
If Shadow Fiend gets Rapier and Dragon Knight goes for auras instead of just like trying to go for these huge items that he can't afford, I think they actually like just win this game. Like at the very least, like the Super Vlads on DK actually changes so much about this game. Just Shadow Fiend having the, and they've been together, they've been attached at the hip forever. If Shadow Fiend has that that source of lifesteal on him, even if it's like not the biggest lifesteal in the world, you know, you can just see every fight what always ends up happening. He just can't quite sustain against Medusa, so
Oh,
unless
no,
he just
bro.
dies early, nothing happens. Rip Medusa illusion.
Yeah, they're about one step away from being found farmed.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Rather unfortunate.
Radiant's middle
All they're
barracks
missing is like the Omni Knight for it, honestly. I feel like they really potentially could have traded Lich for Omni this game, to be honest.
Yeah, potentially. It didn't seem like the Lich ult got that much done. A couple of good fights, but like, certainly not the Lich game that last game, for example, was.
Ooh, nice. Oh, no.
Man,
Oh, the
this
good
is
swap.
very ambitious
Huskar's
on
gonna
Huskar's
eat it.
part. And,
They haven't taken Megas yet.
again, as we always say, great, but you didn't kill Medusa.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And this game was already looking very bleak. Well, took your suggestion, the shard at least. This game wasn't looking bleak enough before. That certainly makes it look a lot bleaker with two lanes of super. But
Can't deny that. It's looking real bad. Unfortunately, they've got 3 heroes that are really good at making DK run away or to just divert his attention. Between Lich, between Huskar, and, of course, Medusa. Those are 3 things he doesn't really want to be facing or having to run away from, and they sort of force you to, in a certain sense.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, DK could never do anything in this game in a million years. Like, even the most ideal situation for this lineup, DK doesn't do a thing.
Oh, DK, you ambitious fool.
No, he wasn't that foolish. Just BKB and walk away.
Well, he blew his BKB charge, and he's going to be down to his last couple, higher duration uses.
No, he's already down to 6, I believe. That was
Oh,
a 6.
no. He doesn't want that. Oh, that's good, actually. Timeless Relic actually applies to his DOT and his
This
stun.
stuff has a rapier,
Yeah,
guys.
Shadow Fiend just got Rapier.
This is the turning point, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. I mean, this is either the turning point or the point where the ship careens off into the...
Honestly, I feel like Drow should have been the one to receive a rapier.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend
but
is he's not tanky enough. He does not have the right kit for this.
at the very least, I can give him this. His average damage output is certainly better than Drow's right now.
Right.
Yeah, Drow doesn't
And
really
it's
have
sort of
damage.
unconditional. And he has BKB, I think at least 2 more charges of higher duration still.
No, but
Assuming I
6.
counted correctly. Oh, never mind, he found Penta Edge. This is perfectly his.
He
needs to take that.
He needs, like, you either need Satanic or you need Dragon Knight to get the Super Vlads. I feel like your life is just too high a risk otherwise. It's just too easy for all the
man.
coursers to bully you into death, basically.
Please tell me that either Drow or Shadow Fiend took the Penta Edge. They really, really need that right now. Just the attack speed it gives alone.
DK Ferguson.
Oh, they're just letting the Penta Edge sit.
Oh, not DK Ferguson and Relic. Okay.
Like I said, Relic
Penta
is
Edge
really
thing.
strong on him. It boosts the duration of his stun, which is probably the only thing he really contributes at this point, to be honest.
Right, yeah, he is really a walk-in stun. He doesn't even have his shard at this point. Wonder how much that shard could have done this game. Not like there wasn't a place for it, certainly.
DK, don't do it, dude. They were wanting you to hit ult.
I mean, to be honest with you, at this point, it's not like it really matters. His damage output is nothing anyway.
I think they're more afraid of the fact that his stun is at a greater distance. I think that
Right.
they'd rather not that any of their
blink.
potential plays get canceled by a really well-timed stun and blink. But now that he's in dragon form, they can't push, but I'd like to reiterate this. The second he is out of dragon form, they are going to push in, and push in hard. His is the longest stun on his team. Pure and simple. In fact, I believe he's their only stun.
No,
They
got
got
VS.
VS. Yes, but it's the only stun of real great duration, at least.
I think. Stun duration 1-7.
Not even 2 seconds, yeah, it
Stun
doesn't
duration
compare.
3. So yeah, it's about
3
half.
plus another, like, what, 15%? So that's a little over 3 seconds, but that's still strong. Oh wait, did he take a trait that ups it, actually? I think there used to be a trait from that ups it.
Nope.
Oh, nope, here we go. Yeah, he didn't take the Dragon Tail stun upgrade, which would have been
He
great.
hasn't
no.
even have 25, so he couldn't have.
And he hit BKB just to
Oh,
slowly...
you understand? He's melting people. Is he melting them fast enough?
Oh, come on, Shadow Friend. Yeah, do it, do it. Dude, turn around and fight the Medusa. You got this, you have it.
Disarm.
Lich ult, by the way, just taking everybody on the back line. Oracle ult,
Oh
but the Medusa Satanic!
my god.
Woo! Come on,
What
what
he
are you doing?
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Centaur.
He doesn't have any room! What are you doing?
Okay.
Hey guys, they have buyback, but this looks like it could be a turnaround a little bit. If they can
Right,
force
man.
buybacks, and they make a bad play against Shadow Fiend, they could take this.
Nothing that can stop this man.
They have no tier 3 up mid, up in Dire side. This could be a win.
Medusa buyback. It's the worst thing you could see right now. It was a life and a half to get rid of Medusa.
Yeah.
It's not great. He's definitely going to have ult by the time he gets back out there. And Satanic there as well, which is not great.
And Centaur's got his ult ready with buyback, so yeah, unfortunately I feel like the potential for this is gone just because Medusa is alive, not even because of any
Yeah.
direct contribution. It's not of what she's doing, but of what she can do.
Right.
They cannot afford to lose Rapier with a dieback.
No, certainly.
Now, if Drow were to somehow get that, it'd be a different story. If she were to somehow acquire that mid-fight.
She is going for part 1 of her plan. She's looking at a rapier. In fact, she's looking at a blessing for it.
Eggs.
And, yeah, she already got Blessing. She's
Got a
got,
rapier,
yeah...
but an Ags, yeah.
Yeah, she's getting eggs. I'd say the Rapier would definitely be the smart choice with the eggs.
Yeah, at this point, it's legitimately it's game over next time you die anyway. So there's almost no risk to it either way at this point, really.
She really needs to replace that Wraith Band at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she'll replace it with the Ags. In the 3 seconds, it's not an Ags blessing.
I honestly don't like the idea of Ags Blessing. Like, I've always been used to, like, Ags giving the raw stats, have it sit in your inventory, and the fact that when it's made into, like, the Blessing, it just loses the stat bonus. The number of games I've seen lost because of that. I watched a game once, it's just a little clip out of it, where a Medusa was the one that was the aggressor in the situation, but a Ricky was getting an Ags Blessing, and it arrived on Curry at the worst possible time, and Medusa was attacking him. He goes back into Invis, and he's scot-free, right? An AA Blast trails over him, and the DOT starts ticking, and he's not able to heal.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh,
then the
baby.
Blessing arrives,
Yeah,
and...
that's a real awkward
Oh,
spot.
she has
That
double
was like
damage.
That was a super blow Medusa. That was like the greediest Medusa ult in history.
I think they believed they were having something there, but no.
Maybe. No, that was just
I know they
Danny
were really
kinda,
scared of him.
Danny kind of having a lapse of judgment there more than anything. I think he's 10 feet taller perhaps than he really is.
But as I was saying,
It's
though,
pretty tall.
end of the story is that Ricky got hit by that DOT, and he almost lived because of the percentile. But the synth arrived, it lowered his max HP, and he went squish.
Radiant are scanning.
Very sad. They're looking at Roche here. Roche is not back for a little while to come.
No, Roche is a pipe dream at best this game for them.
Yeah,
Drow piecing out.
Even if Roche is up, the best they can really do is contest it.
Take a quick peek at Drow's perks for me, would you?
Drow's perk line? Sure, it's all stuff on the left. Well, we got the
I
funny combat
personally
music.
would have taken the marksman chance, but that's just me.
A smoke.
I think they're just taking the multi shots just to clear supers. Leveler dropped here.
Yep, guess who's got it? It's Drow. With Leveler, Drow could play the role of any half-fed Luna and just march into their base with Ags and just melt everything.
Could potentially, yeah.
Drow needs to be real careful, though. If she gets caught by a single stun, and Medusa's allowed to fire on her for several seconds, it's over. And they still have Centaur ult. So anything is
Shadow
possible.
Fiend, what are you doing, bro? Why are you here?
Oh dear, Danny.
Radiant's
Oh, no! Oh, no, it's all going south!
He's rather dead.
Looks like Danny
Very
here
questionable.
suffered a defeato.
Oh, very questionable play there by US Danny. I just got no clue what he was doing so far up. Man acting like he ain't got a rapier in sight.
Good retaliation from Drow, great swap, but it's not enough. Medusa's too oppressive with her attack range.
And DK just gets left to last and just torn to pieces.
And over 100 seconds initial dieback on Shadow Fiend. Well,
top tower.
that's just awkward.
Goodbye, Dragon Knight. Heiser
Wow.
gonna take Huskar for
Ooh,
it!
Wow. Wait,
Radiant's
who's got the... Oh, Medusa's got the Rapier, doesn't she?
top barracks has fallen.
Yep.
Radiant's
Yeah.
top barracks has fallen.
If Drow can get that, they've got a chance, but they need to make a play here. Drow's caught. She dodged with the Manta, amazing, but unfortunately it doesn't save her because the Scotty slow is just too strong.
Yeah, she's dead.
Nope, actually just barely
Okay.
lives that. But
Uphill miss.
really, it just doesn't matter.
Has fallen. Radiant's middle tower has
They actually glyphed the Ancient, wow. They are
Yeah.
desperate to not lose this unwinnable game.
Oh, that damage is so impressive. And she still has her ult. She hasn't even thought of pop. Nope, there we go.
Well, she thought about it.
And they still got Centaur ult, so any attempt at an escape is temporary. Medusa is just not taking damage.
Radiant's
What a fight here, and yeah.
And that's the ball game. Alright!
The only survivor of a bloody battle is the Oracle.
Well played, Danny.
Ooh, I feel like
That
that's
BM?
I feel like that's some good-natured BM.
The good nature might be a bit questionable, but BM for sure. Alright. I think it's pretty much the same analysis this game as the first game. US Danny, just being very impatient with a lot of the way he plays this game. The charge out where he just kind of lingered top. I mean, it's just like he's just super mentally checked out of the game. You can't mentally check out as a 1. I'm sorry. There was like a... Don't get me wrong. It's not like there was really a realistic path to victory. But like, there certainly is never a realistic path to victory when you're playing like that.
My assessment, if you'd like, really quick,
Go ahead.
about Danny. I feel like the Scotty was a bad choice of item for him. I feel like the Scotty, while it did beef him up and allow him to stick around in fights longer, honest to God, the Scotty effect is completely invalidated by Centaur existing.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I think the Scotty pick is okay. Centaur Warrunner's ult is not up 24/7. The only problem, that's
not,
the
but
only...
to be fair, so is Ogre's Bloodlust. It's almost always around.
It's the only sustain he had of it for himself at all. Like, the word of the day here, hardcore itemization. I think the biggest issue with this lineup on Epstein didn't nerf himself in this game is itemization all the way down. I think Dragon Knight built this game very poorly. Like, from lane phase to the end of the game, there was just... It just seemed like he was always working on the wrong thing, unfortunately. And there is a good reason for that. This is not a 12-year-old boy's debut season. As a 3, these mistakes are going to happen to you early. But, for the record, in this situation, when you're a tanky hero but nobody will pay attention to you, and you need them to do that, get auras, get them small. To be honest with you, until Medusa gets that rapier. Until Medusa gets that trait to actually do effects on split shot, you can actually stop a lot of the Medusa damage with a Crimson Guard. Not a lot of people really think about that, but you can. So a lot of it gets soaked up by that. Of course, Pipe of Insight is going to soak up a lot of what the damage that Huskar does to you. Is going to basically completely nullify the Ogre Magi and the Lich. Even going for the Guardian Greaves, which they never had anything like, even going for the Guardian Greaves over the Power Treads, or even the Drum Boots over the Power Treads, gives you a lot more sort of ability to operate in this world. I mean, how bad was that Medusa ult, right? You know what the Drum Boots does? When they're active, you do not get slowed for a little while, and that actually helps him out a lot in those fights, helps him not get slowed by Huskar, helps him not get slowed by the Lich, not get slowed by the Ogre Knight, right? You know, get some drum boots, get some of those small auras. Like I said, the big Vlads. I forget what the super Vlads is called. I just call it super Vlads. It's the thing that Vlads builds into that's not the super helm of the Dominator, right? Would have also been really good this game. I think Medusa kind of kills the active portion of it really quickly. That's okay. Medusa's not at every fight. And on top of that, it's just one thing her split shot is targeting that's not a hero, so that's fine. You know, the itemization on Dragon Knight, not great. The itemization on Shadow Fiend, definitely not great, especially he was not in the right place to get a rapier. Both in how he was playing it and how he was building it. He just so desperately needed a Satanic. This game just never came to be. And one last thing, I think Carp's...
actually got still.
Well, I'll say one last thing on that. Carp definitely played, I think, a bit too much Stepford support when this started going downhill. More levels on more Carp.
That ties into what I was going to address on the matter of Carp. Carp, while they were actually present for nearly every fight, they were very much the forefront of making a play for this team. A little bit too eager on the swaps and a number of chances that he had, but I have to state that the bigger issue is that he spent his time a little too active frontline-wise. VS is a hero that is very valuable in the frontline because of her passive, her ult, and everything she provides, make no mistake. However, the problem arose when they're the first one to die.
Yeah, it seemed like every
They're
fight
too much
that,
on the front line, and as a result, there was very little to be done in the middle of the fight. A swap, because you've got 2 charges of that now. You can afford to sort of play it safe and just wait till someone's at a bad spot in the enemy team that they start. If you see them turn tail and start running, pull them in. If someone else tries to keep turning and run away, or tries to leave their friend for dead, pull them in too.
Right.
You honestly need mobility items, or at least some form of getting around more than you need Ags. Ags is good on almost everybody in most cases, but I feel like VS, if you're not going to be building yourself up to at least like a pause 3, like you can honestly get VS to a pretty decent 2 with the right setup. And the right pause 1, of course. But Shadow Fiend already kind of does what a couple of her abilities do to an extent.
Right.
Forced
Yeah.
repositioning, armor reduction, and pretty nasty attack steroid. Shadow Fiend's got that. Drow just ignores your defenses on a chance, of course, but Drow just sort of does a lot of what VS already provides. I feel like it was a redundant pick is the problem. And
Yeah.
Oracle couldn't really interface with VS, let alone swap with her at any given point to alleviate any lane pressure, one way or the other.
Yeah, I feel like ironically, I feel like if we get a second sustain-based support here, which seems like that would be as redundant, but like I said at the top of the game, this is like the busiest day in Oracle's life. Like, Blue Jay right there playing this Oracle was like one guy who's not a pilot trying to fly a plane and repair the engine at the same time, you know? Like,
I got a better analogy. It was like the one engineer in the bottom of the Titanic trying to bail the poor thing out.
right. It was just a really, really, really hard job, and you don't need like a super duper like save focus support. And I guess that was what they're going for. If you pay attention to it, like 6/10 of the time, what Vengeful Spirit is like swapping people out of bad situations. A lot more defensive swaps than offensive in that situation, but definitely agree to the point that for most of what she was doing offensively, somebody else was covering that better, and it just like it especially wasn't good that she wasn't really like she was so far behind level wise. It was something that I talked a lot about combination being in season 12. Like oftentimes she would be playing these very level dependent heroes, and then at the end of the game she's like 5 levels below everybody else. Carp's not that far behind, but I mean he's very behind here. He's like
I would like to make a suggestion on Carp's behalf, and this is not to sound a bit, presumptuous as somebody who hasn't really directly interacted with them, but I do feel as a point of improvement that the support end of VS is just as valuable as her team fighting and ganking capabilities. A few stacked camps here and there, give it over to your Drow Ranger, and just throw a armor reduction wave on it, and it's easy pickings. Hell, for anyone on that team, it would have been easy pickings already, but you can really easily stack multiple camps using Wave of Fear.
yeah, a bit more on the support side of things. There's also some good things. I did think, even though Oracle had a very heavy job ahead of him, and let's just be frank, Oracle is... If I'm being realistic, Oracle is probably the hardest actual hero to play, because even though there are heroes like Invoker, there are heroes like for example, Meepo, where
They require a very practical level of skill.
the heroes like that, they have probably a higher skill floor than Oracle does. But here's the thing: if you fail with Invoker or Meepo, then you're like pretty much a waste of a slot. But you can still do a little bit, No matter how bad you're doing with Invoker, you can always at least drop like Ice Wall and Cold Snap. No matter how bad you're doing with Meepo, you can at least throw a net into a fight. If you're bad with Oracle, you're not just like not doing good, you're actively detracting a slot, right? It's a very high risk hero. Like, you were actively detrimenting your team. You were actively screwing them over. I don't think Oracle was doing that this game. I think he was doing a very good job. It's not an easy hero to play, so that's very good. I think Baladec's strategy, and Danny's for a while as well, of just trying to constantly be splitting, constantly just be, cutting waves, just constantly keeping the equilibrium in their favor. I think it was good. Only really taking fights when it was like, when they were really deep, they had a very good advantage. That was very good. On the other side of the coin, over on Birds Aren't Real, I think Otto von Bismarck, I think this is a, after a season where, let's just be frank, he just, it was probably not the year to remember for Otto von Bismarck season 12. I think this is a very, very good looking core performance for him. I think this is definitely on the tier. Definitely on the tier of his performances over at the Mage tournament. I think the really the most notable, I think the most impressive thing about him in this game was his positioning. It seemed like every single fight, everybody was in the Medusa ult. Every time at least one VIP got turned to stone, every time it was really good. So good on him for that. Beatus on the Huskar had a really good start. I do think he needs to have a bit more of a self-preservation instinct when he's won. He's playing his Huskar 1 like he's playing like an old Huskar 3 would do it.
Yeah, I still say the armlet was a very unnecessary choice, mostly because the enemy heroes had a very dangerous lineup to just sort of punish him for using that. Drow, period, is very dangerous to play against when you've got low health.
Right.
And Shadow Fiend is another one, because if he hits you with a series of Shadow Raises, you are toast, friend.
Well, he didn't level it this game, so that is good. I don't think he actually even used it after he leveled it, which is interesting.
That is one mild thing. I do agree that there are numerous occasions where you want to actually put points in stats and just make your stat wall high. But ignoring at least a value point is something that I can't really openly endorse.
Yeah, I think it hurt him here. I think it hurt him here. I think it hurt his farming speed. I think it hurt his...
He didn't have the option for a quick bit of range magic damage, or even something to just burst a squish your hero with when they were fleeing. I saw a few points where he was BKB'd and people were like running up to him and just sort of surrounding him, and having a Shadow Razor to just blow up Lich in the backline would have been great, but he just didn't have it.
Or, because he was sitting on the item for a very long time, something to just suddenly pop the Quicksilver Ray. I mean, like, get that working when you're in the jungle, if you haven't ulted yet.
Indeed.
Anyway, so back to Blizzard Real. I think good old Bob had just the Centaur game you need here. Like, I don't think anybody is going to look at this and say, best Centaur Warrunner game I've ever seen in my life. But this is fine. I think his itemization was alright. The Lotus Orb certainly seemed to come in handy here, at least at the very, very end of the game, but I don't really think it had much impact beyond that. It's pretty much just the Dragon Knight don't ult this guy button, and he didn't really fall for that, which is really the big thing with Lotus Orb, right? If the other guy does not care about getting the skill reflected back at him, then what have you accomplished by having it, right? Pretty much just the VS don't slot me, stop the fear from Shadow Fiend button. I don't know, I feel like it's better to just tank through that.
On the topic of items, two very good choices were those halberds on Huskar and on Centaur. Those were an absolute blight upon Shadow Fiend, Drow. Hell, when DK is ulted, they're all range, and they suffer the full and debilitating debuff. That really stalled their momentum in fights, and I feel like if DK had detoured instead of going for what looks like an AC, I take it back, honestly. AC should have gone on Shadow Fiend, and they should have
did call AC for Shadow Fiend, so you're not taking anything back.
I think I gaslit myself. I thought I said it in reverse, honestly, but anyway, point being, AC should have been on Shadow Fiend in the first place, and DK, I feel, really should have gone for a halberd himself, because DK is tanky enough to wade into a fight. It takes them forever to kill him, because they don't have a lot of armor reduction. And Medusa, with her ults up, and if he just takes some of the duration of Medusa's ult and hits her with halberd, she can't do anything.
Right, she is just completely... Yeah, that's a good call.
No satanic.
That, definitely.
I mean, I don't believe... Manta is still strong enough to
Medusa
purge...
Well, she couldn't use it while he's doing it, but...
Yeah, well, I believe
that... Nothing
that,
purges halberd. If it's on you, it's not coming off.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, that sort of gives credence to my idea then, because she doesn't benefit from Scotty, Satanic, or anything, really. She's all right-click at that point. I mean, she can still throw her snake and mess you up a little bit, but DK's got BKB, and that snake can't hit you during that, but her ult can, and he's the only one that didn't directly fear her ult for its intended, like, turning you to stone effect, because his entire contribution at that point is to make sure her ult doesn't allow her to do damage.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely good on the halberd picks. I think they're very, very game-winning, especially the fact they both ended up with them. That's something Kid Dynamite does a lot, and definitely having the two halberds here really helped them out. I think the Ogre Magi, the Rod of Atos pick there, just about to turn into a Gleipnir, very annoying to deal with as an Ogre.
Yeah.
I think the Lich didn't have much to say, but I think he built very well as well. It's a hard game for Lich. I think he ended up coming out of it fine, but not the easiest game in the world for him.
Speaking of Lich, actually, I'd like to give him a bit of a commendation here. Very good pick with Medusa. Not something I see all too commonly, But when people are forced to run from your ult, like, happened so many times during this game, that Chain Frost being thrown into the mix is just pure chaos. They can't even run in a straight line anymore. They're forced to split up. They're forced to let Huskar and Centaur chase in and just absolutely just rip them to pieces.
Right. With the Lich and Medusa combo, you're rarely going to get a Lich ult that's going to do like 1 billion damage, but you're still only going to get a lot of Lich ults that just inspire a lot of panic, just make everybody question what the hell they're doing, where they're going. I think you did see that a few times there, so definitely good use of it.
Yeah, I tell you something. Lich, as far as a hero in Dota goes, there is, make no mistake, there are people in this world that if they've played this game for even minutes against the Lich, they're going to be out in the subway, you know, just taking the fucking ride home. Taking it slow, they're just trying to de-stress. Maybe they play some Dota when they get home, and they're all clustered up in there, and someone's watching a Dota stream on their phone, and they hear that Chain Frost sound come on, and they all start scattering like cockroaches when you turn the lights on.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. The words of the day for the Baladec team: itemization. You guys definitely need to come together, work on that. Hey, if your name is not a 12-year-old boy, talk to me. I'm the 3 guy. I'll help you out. If you're on Birds Aren't Real, the lesson of the day, I think really their thing is more the just trying to be a bit more varied with their draft. I feel like neither of these are very. Let's just say it like this: when I say Otto von Bismarck is a very firm traditionalist, this is what I mean. These are very, very safe teams. These are very, like, every LD2L season you have this team. Like, this exact team, basically. Like, every hypothetical LD2L season, you got this. You got guys like Beatus on this lineup, and these sort of guys who kind of fell out of the sky, right? I think you guys can afford to be a bit more crazy with how you do things, at least for now. And yeah, that's going to be it. So, if you or somebody else you know wants to learn Dota 2 on a casual or more competitive level, ld2l.gg is where you sign up. It's too late to be in for Season 13, but stand-in season is going crazy right now. Every single series that we had in Week 1, I believe, has at least one stand-in. A couple of them have too. So if you want to be standing in, especially if you are a mid or if you are a Pause 3 player, definitely want to be signing in for that stand-in. And as always, this stream is sponsored by Flashpoint. I think it's flashpoint.com. I don't know. One of these days I'm going to look up the URL. Has all those fun classic Flash games that you remember as a kid, dedicated to helping preserve some more. Throw in some money if you got them, because they're doing some good work. Ocelot, what's your favorite Flash game?
If you have to know, I gotta say, it's that really, really janky, what's that thing? God, it's from years ago. It's sort of like, you gotta, like, keep your mouse away from this dickhead that jumps around after it and does all sorts of wacky-ass crap to grab it.
I don't remember the title, but I know what you're talking about. I thought for sure you were about to say SpongeBob SquarePants Kills Terrorist.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, I guess like a bigger classic is like, what's that one game that got made by that dude who like started a cult? So it's like a nun that like kills zombies or some crap.
A guy who started a cult.
I'm not kidding! I'm not kidding! That's like a thing.
You're on some weird websites back in the day, man.
Man, Newgrounds ain't weird. That's like the norm. You kidding?
Yeah. Cult leaders and murderers and all that are. That's not weird at all. We'll see you next time, kids!
I'm not crazy, damn it!